Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court nominee and world's angriest calendar enthusiast. In addition to the sexual assault claims against him, people are zeroing in on another reason Kavanaugh may not be fit for the Supreme Court, and that is honesty. Along with a complexion that looks good in black, honesty is one of the things you most want in a Supreme Court justice. And there are more and more signs that Kavanaugh might not have enough of it, especially when it comes to his history with drinking. Because Kavanaugh may make it seem like he's had a casual relationship with alcohol, but it turns out the two of them were probably more than just friends.
Kavanaugh has acknowledged sometimes drinking too much as a young man, but former classmates of Kavanaugh's are saying that he's being misleading about how much he drank back then and his belligerence when he did.
A Yale College classmate of Kavanaugh's, Charles Chad Ludington, said Kavanaugh tried to deceive the Senate by downplaying his drinking habits. Ludington says on multiple occasions he saw Kavanaugh staggering from alcohol consumption.
Charles Ludington, who went to Yale with Brett Kavanaugh, says that on one last occasion, I purposely socialized with Brett. I witnessed him respond to a semi-hostile remark, not by diffusing the situation, but by throwing beer in the man's face and starting a fight that ended with one of our mutual friends in jail.
Damn. Kavanaugh might not be fit to serve on the Supreme Court, but I think we should nominate him to serve on the next season of Jersey Shore. He sounds right. Because this story is pretty wild, right? It turns out in 1985, Kavanaugh and his friends got into a bar fight that got so rowdy, the police got called in, and the police filed an official report. And here's the thing. It's one thing to get into a fight. It's another thing to get into a fight where the cops are called. And on top of that, a fight where the cops are called on a white guy. Do you know how bad a fight has to be for the police to get called on a white guy at an Ivy League school in the 80s? That was like rich white male heyday. I mean, every decade is, but that one was extra good for them. And personally, I would never want to see Brett Kavanaugh get into a fight, because you know it would be super weird. It would be like, hey, bro, you want to throw down? Because I swear I'll start... I swear I'll start... You know what, I just need to write it in my calendar first. September 25th. September 25th. Throw drink in dude's face at the bar. Now it's official. It's in my calendar. I had peace. So it turns out Brett Kavanaugh, Mr. I like beer, Mr. I might have exceeded the legal limit a little bit, allegedly got into a bar brawl where he hit someone in the face with his drink. And the reason Kavanaugh was fighting is probably one of the greatest stories of all time.
Ludington telling the New York Times he witnessed Kavanaugh getting into a bar brawl after a UB40 concert.
They saw someone they thought was the band's lead singer. And the man said he wasn't and told the three of them to stop looking at him. Kavanaugh apparently became belligerent.
Brett said, you, or something to that effect, and threw the ice at the guy. The guy, understandably, even though he had been aggressive in his response, found that was one step too far. So he took a swing at Brett. At that point, Chris Dudley, who had his drink in his hand, proceeded to smash it up against the guy's head.
Okay. Now, if you're lost, it's probably because you're not drunk. Because you see, this has gone from a stock standard Supreme Court hearing to a wild 1985 story where a future Supreme Court nominee and his friend Dudley, a future NBA player, got in a fight with some guy because they thought he looked like the lead singer of the reggae band UB40. Yeah. Right now, the story's so weird, you can make up any detail and it would be believable. You can be like, and then Kavanaugh punched the horse, and that horse went on to become the ruler of Iran. You don't know if it's fake. And by the way, I also feel bad for the lead singer of UB40, right? Because everyone covering the story just keeps referring to him as the lead singer of UB40. He has a name. You know, it's UB, I'm pretty sure. Like, there's a name. And now here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're throwing a drink in someone's face because they're not the lead singer of UB40, you're either someone who drank a shit ton, or you're just a crazy person. It's one or the other. And again, him raging as a young man doesn't disqualify him from serving on the Supreme Court, right? But Brett Kavanaugh lying about it to the Senate is what should be of concern. And for more on this and the legal ramifications of all of it, we turn to a man who has been represented by many lawyers. Michael Kosta, everyone. Michael, on the one hand, you have Brett Kavanaugh, who says that sometimes he had too many beers, but on the other hand, you have all these witnesses who say that he was a belligerent drunk who drank way too much. What do you make of this?
Well, Trevor, this term too much gets thrown around too much. It's all a matter of perspective. If a dad posts 10 pictures of his kid on Facebook, that's considered normal. But if I post 10 pictures of his kid, suddenly it's too much and I have to leave the park. It's the same with Brett Kavanaugh's drinking.
Okay, but as a Supreme Court nominee, Kavanaugh has a duty to be honest. And it seemed to me that he was a bit disingenuous about what kind of a drinker he was.
Trevor, I want to say this kindly because you're my boss, but what a dumbass thing to say. You can't accuse Brett Kavanaugh of hiding the truth because if he was as drunk as everyone says he was, then we can't expect him to remember what happened. Because sober Brett can't remember the things drunk Brett did. They meet briefly around beer number 5, they shake hands, and they go their separate ways.
So you're saying then that we can't ask him questions about things that he was too drunk to remember?
See, now you're getting it. We can't hold Bruce Banner accountable for fights started by the Hulk, you know what I mean? One is a mild-mannered, middle-aged white guy, and the other is an aggressive person of color. If Congress put Bruce Banner under oath and asked him, Dr. Banner, have you ever smashed anything? He'd have no idea, because Bruce Banner doesn't smash, Hulk smash.
Yeah, but sober or drunk, under the law, Brett Kavanaugh would be held accountable for anything he did.
And he'll change that as soon as he gets to the Supreme Court. But in the meantime, why the hell is sober Kavanaugh being asked about what drunk Kavanaugh did? The guy who should be on the stand is the guy who picks a fight with a mop for not being Ziggy Marley.
Wait. You're not suggesting...
Yes! Let's get Kavanaugh shit-faced. Roll in a keg of Natty Light. Roll in a keg of Natty Light, have Feinstein tap that thing, and let Bretty go to town. And I guarantee you the truth will flow right out of him. A sober guy is embarrassed about what he did when he drank too much, but a drunk guy can't wait to tell you all the trouble he got into.
That's actually a pretty amazing idea, Kosta.
No. Don't give Kosta the credit. Give drunk Mikey the credit.
Wait. Are you drunk? Have you been drinking at work?
Well, why don't you ask me tomorrow? I promise I won't lie.
Drunk Michael Kosta, everyone!